When the Biden administration told the American people that the virus didn't come from a lab, was that misinformation or disinformation?
Congressman, again, I can't speak to discussions that were had on that topic. It's been a couple of years, but again, generally...
The White House put pressure on us to censor the lab leak theory. This was something the White House cared about, so much so that Facebook was having, the top people at Facebook were having a group discussion on it. So I'm just asking, when they said that, was that misinformation or disinformation?
Congressman, I can't recall the specific example.
When the Biden administration said that masks work, was that misinformation or disinformation?
Again, Congressman, we were communicating the best research at the time, but I also believe that that was a discussion that began in the previous administration as well.
How about what Professor Zawicki brought up, Mr. Flaherty, when the White House said there was no such thing as natural immunity? Was that misinformation or disinformation?
Again, Congressman, I am not a medical expert, and my job was to communicate on behalf of a team of medical experts.
So you weren't a medical expert, but you could suggest to Facebook that they needed to change their algorithm so that the American people would not see stuff from the Daily Wire. They'd only see stuff from the New York Times. You can do that, but you can't tell me if they were guessing or lying when they said something that was absolutely not true.
When the President of the United States, the previous president, suggested that perhaps the ingestion of bleach might cure COVID, was that misinformation or disinformation?
Congressman, I can't speak.
All right, got it. And when he suggested perhaps sources of light in certain orifices of the body might also work, was that misinformation or disinformation?
I believe my understanding is that was medically inaccurate, yeah.
And by the way, did that president get COVID?
Congressman, I recall that he did.
And did he get vaccinated?
Congressman, I believe that he did.
Yeah. Well, I seem to recall the chairman of this committee and I actually got vaccinated, I think I'm right, Mr. Jordan, on the same day. We were in the same clinic here on the Hill when the vaccine first got...
That's not accurate.
Oh, is that not? I thought I saw you.
You might have saw me, but I didn't get vaccinated.
Okay, I'm sorry. Well, at any rate, he was hanging around.
My office is close to where you got vaccinated. I didn't.
So I want to show some photos from an information slideshow that was presented to social media companies by the CDC to inform these companies of false information. What Professor Zawicki apparently refers to as hectoring by you, Mr. Flaherty, and you, Mr. Slavitt. These slides also included facts provided by the CDC of correct scientific-based information. And I want to take a moment to go through some of these posts that the government identified for social media companies as false information. That hectoring that seems to bother Professor Zawicki. It basically, on the screen, as you can see, there was a theory floating around in social media in the first half of 2021 that said COVID vaccines cause humans to become magnetic. For example, one of these posts states the magnetism from the vaccine reportedly spreads throughout the body over time. And it shows pictures of a person's arm in the middle there with spoons attached to it from the magnetic attraction. Mr. Slavitt, is there any evidence at all that COVID vaccines caused human skin to become magnetic?
No, Congressman, not that I'm aware of.
So after I get the vaccine, I don't need to start holding forks and spoons in my arm to see if they stick?
Yeah, nothing that I'm aware of. I think
nothing that you're... And there are, quote, self-reproducing nanoparticles in the vaccines that take over our bodies that cause metal objects to stick to you. That's also false?
Yeah, that was a common internet rumor, but that was not true.
I wouldn't... So what did... You were concerned after, I mean, during COVID, that we best know of, 1.2 million Americans died. Almost everyone in the country got COVID at one point or another. I got it twice. Almost all of us, like you, Mr. Flaherty, lost family members or friends who succumbed to the virus. And I don't know, I have a different interpretation perhaps of your actions, which is you were desperate to get correct information out to protect lives. And we didn't, in the beginning, we didn't know everything we needed to know about COVID. It was a brand new virus, not a lot of studies. We weren't sure what worked and what didn't. We weren't sure about protections. But that's hardly you engaged in a disinformation campaign, nor is it hardly you trying to crack down on the free expression of ideas that can jeopardize lives. Would that be a fair characterization, Mr. Flaherty, of your motivation?
I think that would be a fair characterization, Congressman.
If we can go to another photo real quick. This one says, the magnetic skin condition were emerging daily, and there were verified reports that whoever took the COVID vaccine was going to be magnetic. Mr. Slaver, was this post accurate?
I don't believe so.
And this one got to Moderna. It actually slandered Moderna vaccine by saying it contained a deadly poison that was not even approved for veterinary use, let alone human use. Many of us got the Moderna vaccine. Has it ever contained ingredients that are fatal or carcinogenic or that cause infertility or nerve, liver, or kidney damage that you know of?
I don't believe so. I think that vaccine's been given hundreds of millions of times in the United States. I'm not aware of it.
I just think it's important that when we use words like disinformation, misinformation, or hectoring of U.S. government officials who are trying to save lives, that we see the other side. There was a real problem. And people lost their lives because they believed that stuff. And it had no basis in scientific fact, and it jeopardized lives in the middle of a pandemic, the worst pandemic in over 100 years. I yield back.
Gentleman's time expired. Yields back. Gentleman from Florida, Mr. Stubbe, is recognized.